A very good evening to all our viewers. Thank you for joining us yet on this Sunday evening on the agenda. My name is Toiwan Jebela, your host, and tonight we are talking mandatory vaccinations as they have dominated headlines in recent weeks, with some employers forcing their employees to take mandatory vaccinations or risk facing certain consequences at work, including, in some cases, possible dismissals. And to talk to us about this tonight is what are representatives from the Alliance of Christian Churches in Namibia, ACCN, who last week or a week ago expressed discontent with that attitude that has been adopted by some employers, saying they are not for mandatory vaccinations in the workplace. To discuss that with us tonight is Reverend Dolly Nengushe, who is the Executive Chairperson of the Trustees of the Alliance of Christian Churches in Namibia, as well as Pastor Maxwanu, also from the same alliance. Thank you, Reverend, for being with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Toivo, for having us, and blessed evening to the Namibian nation.
Wonderful. Pastor Maxwanu, thank you for your time. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Mr. Jebera, for having me, and good evening to the Namibians.
Wonderful. So Reverend Nengushe, give us maybe, just to start off with, really your general attitude towards COVID-19 vaccinations. Not mandatory ones necessarily, we'll go to that later, but your general perception of vaccinations.
Thank you so much for this opportunity and this platform, and for the invitation also extended to the Alliance. The issue that we're going to discuss, I think, is of great essence, and it is a very, very sensitive issue because it really involves the life of the people. And coming just to the question that you have just asked, my general perception on vaccines, I would say that, from the history of our country being, acquainted to different vaccinations of polio, measles, and so forth, that was successfully carried out, and me, myself, being part of the process. My general perceptions on vaccination is it's really a good thing. Yes, if it is really providing the immunity and saving the population. Thank you.
And is that now, you spoke about polio and that history of our country as far as vaccinations are concerned. Does that include, your perspective includes COVID vaccinations? Do you want to comment specifically on COVID vaccinations? What your take is on that, on those ones?
The COVID-19 vaccine, I think it's quite a different ball game from all the other vaccines that we had in the past, because to start off, it was vaccinations that was done during a very, very difficult time. To mitigate the effect of the pandemic. And my general perceptions is that I'm not against the COVID-19 vaccine. I think our positions or the position of the church is we are actually advocating for forced mandatory vaccination. And there are reasons why we are not really aligning ourselves with number one, because I think, should I have to go in that?
We'll come to that just shortly. Let me engage Pastor Maxwanu, your general attitude towards COVID-19 vaccinations, Pastor. Are you vaccinated, or is it a private confidential thing? But
many of us, we treat that one as private. And yes, number one, it must be understood there that as I'm speaking and now giving my input here, I'm not a medical doctor.
Yes.
Nor I am a medical expert.
Yeah.
So, but my answer, my response, and my input depend on the information that I have gathered around.
Yes.
That have come out, and they are there from the expertise and from medical fraternity.
Yeah, yeah.
So they are the ones that are publicizing all these things. And I wanted to state it that apart from all the vaccinations that we're having throughout the generation, this one, COVID-19, is so very much different. This type of vaccination, the way approach, the way it comes, is so different from all the other. Because this kind of vaccination has brought division and fighting, the infighting within the medical expert. They are not agreeing on one. They are not standing on one page. And if them that are expertise are not doing that, are divided, what more of us who are on the ground?
The laymen.
The laymen here. So that's why even in us, there is a lot of push and pull. That's why all these things, the misunderstanding when it's coming to this vaccination, they are out there because even the medical fraternity are not giving us the clear information. They are divided. Hence, on my side, I can say this COVID vaccination is temporary. It's not even at the final stage yet to be called as a vaccination. It's a help, you know, one of the methods, just like me, I compare it like the mask, wearing of mask, hand sanitation. It's just one of those things to try to mitigate in those things. And yes, it has been welcomed. And I also welcome any way that comes out to help.
Indeed. Do you realize, I mean, maybe I should go back to Reverend Nengushe, and the church is such an influential platform. From the history of our country, the role that the church has played in fighting for independence, such has been the influence of church. Reverend Michael Scott taking the petition to the UN on behalf of Namibians in those years also, a very influential people, because we perceive you as this authoritative, sober-minded individuals, and when you talk, when Reverend Nengushe speaks, I, as a follower of her teachings, usually listen very well. Do you think, Reverend, that position that you have adopted as an alliance can negatively influence or affect basically the efforts of government? Because government is saying, let's vaccinate on a grand scale, on a mass scale. And then comes the church that says, don't make it mandatory. I understand the mandatory part, but do you think that, in what way do you think you're helping government in that regard?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's a very, good question, and also a very interesting question. You know, going back to what you say, that the church has really played a very significant role in the liberation of the country, which I really fully agree. It is the truth, and it's something to be commendable, the influence that they had and so forth, to make it sure that we have attained to the independence. But what we actually saying here is, when it comes now, I think we have to be specific. We're coming to the issue of the vaccine.
Yes.
The government position on you know, rolling out the vaccination campaign throughout the country as a mitigating factor. For one is that the position of the government is very clear in this instance, especially pertaining to this COVID-19 vaccine, that it is voluntary.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what we advocating for as the church, and all obviously the role of the church in this regard, I should believe, is to guard the moral conscience of the nation, to ensure that you know, the moral aspects are being upheld and the values and the rights of the people are being, protected in this instance.
Yeah.
And what we really advocating for, as for instance, as what you have earlier alluded to, is the forced mandatory vaccinations at workplaces, which is actually contradicting the position of the government. And this is actually where the church is coming in to play its role within the pyramid and confinement of its operation and the mandate that it is playing in the society, which of one is to really bring harmony, to bring peace, and unity, and to really promote peace in the social cohesion of the country. And I think that we are just within the confinement of our mandate as the church to guard the moral conscience of how these things are being executed, because there is a force that is coming on the people that is actually violating and infringe on their constitutional rights, and taking the right to choose with regard to their health in this instance. So I think the church is not counteracting the efforts of the government, but rather contributing.
Yeah, I hear you, Pastor, Reverend, and this is where I need clarity from Pastor Maxwanu. In what way do you think the Alliance, this very important body, which is a conglomeration of different Christian churches, in what way do you think you guys are meeting government halfway as far as that very important message of vaccines is concerned? Or did you adopt a position to say, look, in this particular instance, we have no obligation to support government?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Njebela. I think you being our moderator and you are narrating very well to say the church is an influential unity body that is there on the ground, that is working with the people on day to day. That is a truth, and I don't know whether is the government having that same understanding to understand that the church is supposed to work hand in hand, these two bodies. Something I'm seeing that is lacking from between these two parties is the communication, the engagement, because when last, more especially since the beginning of this pandemic, maybe you can count, yes, there was a program that time at the beginning, there was kind of a program where the body of churches, they used to go there. It was something on COVID, something. Yeah, but since then, there is a division between the two parties where they are not engaging one another, even when these two parties, they are trying to address the welfare of a human being, of a person. And in that sense, I'm saying, yes, the church, we are doing what we do in our line, because the position of the church and the mandatory is to call leaders to order. The church is the voice of God. When we see what is happening is bringing chaos or is bringing injustice, we are seeing, we have to stand up and we have to say, "Thus says the Lord." And that's why we are standing up, because we have seen a division that has been brought up by this, what we are standing for now, what we are discussing. Therefore, yes, we are all together with the government, but there are issues where we are seeing the injustice, because we are dealing with people on the ground. Government mostly is dealing with people on the broader level. We are dealing with people on the daily basis. When people are the death, we are the ones that are burying them. We are dealing with the people that are left when government come to bury, they bury and they go, they disappear. But we are remaining with those people. We are seeing how severe these people have been affected, all these things. But what we are saying, we are together. We are not encountering or fighting the government initiative or programs, but we are all together in all these things to fight the pandemic.
Yeah, a quick follow-up, Pastor Maxwanu, there. When you talk about, you painted a very grim picture of what you as men and women of God go through, especially at those burial sites. What we have seen since the advent of COVID-19 is something that we've never seen before in the history of our
existence.
Of our existence.
Yes.
Does that then not say to you, Reverend, that in order to restore the olden days, in order to go back to the olden days, not this lonely burials, only 10 family members are in the distance, like you are being, like the deceased is totally...
It's an outcast.
Yeah, exactly. You know. Does that then not say to you, Pastor Maxwanu, that there is indeed a need for a solution, and that solution, according to experts, is vaccines?
Yes, we are not sure whether it's a solution, because Namibia is not an island. It's part of the global world, and we are seeing what is happening in the world. The vaccine hesitancy is not only in our country, or these differences is not only in Namibia. And if you look around the world, people are having all these kind of differences. And I think the missing part from the beginning, where I underline, is the lack of information. The lack of information. How many times did the people went out there to give information? I remember, you see, me and you, we are men, and there was this campaign on circumcision. The government even went to the extent of paying a certain guy, you know, our artist, who went out region by region to try to educate men when it's coming to the values and the goodness of all these things, circumcision. And at the end, it was left in the hands of the individual. But it's for the benefit. It is for the benefit. They are saying it's for the benefit to encounter certain disease and to fight. But why is so different when coming to this one? You understand where, and it's where all of us, I think, the lack of information, lack of campaigning that need to go outside there, so that people, they are going to make the decision with the informed position. They must be in the position of informed, so that they may have that kind of decision they are making. Why is these things is so treated different from the other? Yes, we understand it's a different thing, but it's always compared to the other. It's a vaccination like all the other vaccination. Why it have to be treated different? I think it's where it has brought a lot of question in the heart of the people.
I hear you. Before we go on a break, Reverend Nengushe, what are the proposed solutions? Because I suppose all of us, even if we do not agree on the method that we must use to combat this disease, I think we all agree that eventually this pandemic must end. How must it end?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. I think I want to echo what my brother, Pastor Max, just said, that with this issue of vaccine, we are actually treating it differently, you know, contrary to the previous, you know, incidents or pandemics that we had, like, for instance, the HIV. With the HIV, you know, disease or the virus, when at the outbreak, you could see the consolidated collaborative initiative that brought all the different stakeholders and role players, you know, at one platform to address this issue at hand. But with this, you know, COVID-19 vaccine, we see, you know, that there is just a one-sided, approach to it, that the vaccine is the solution. While we also knows that from 2019 people were sick and people got healed. How did these people got healed? What were they actually using? And I remember that there was also an incident where medical experts, and this is actually this whole thing that is really confusing everybody, because within the medical fraternity, they have not reached a leverage in terms of agreeing on certain issues. And those things are filtering to the broader public, and people knows and hears about this. There was, a group of doctors that were suggesting other medications, and from the side of the church, as we already alluded to, is that we are not in a position to say that this is the right medication, this is not the right medication, because we are not experts in that arena. And that is why this whole issue of this COVID pandemic, COVID-19 vaccine, should have to be a collective effort. And we have to have a holistic approach to this thing, because this issue started as a health issue, but now it's no longer a health issue. It's a social issue, it's economic issue, it's a legal issues, it's a spiritual issue. Mental health related issues also emerge from this thing. Political, economic, all these are, at play. And for us to medicate, just as you really ask, to medicate and to really bring interventions, initiative on the board, is that when we collectively as the nations have all the role players at one platform. And I really appreciate a platform of this magnitude, because it's sending a message, and it's also, also at the same time, educating and bringing a level of enlightenment, so that we all can be at the same page in terms of how do we come together as a nation, because it's no longer a health issue. Our economy has been affected, and all people has been affected by the pandemic. So I think we need to approach in that way if we really have or anticipate tangible outcomes to this or results. Thank you.
Indeed. We go for a quick break and return shortly. We continue our conversation with spiritual leaders, Dolly, Nengushe, and Maxwanu. Pastor Maxwanu, I will pose the same question to you as I did with Reverend Nengushe on what you think then, amid all these challenges and contradictions and fears and suspicion, how do you think we must end the pandemic? Is it through prayer?
Of course, if you ask me, prayer on my side, because that is what I'm working with on daily basis. there is no life without prayer. There is no day without prayer.
Yeah.
And whatever you do it trusting the Lord.
But the Lord also...
Even when you are taking, we are taking medication and we are taking all this vaccination, our faith is not in the vaccination. Yeah. Our faith is in the Lord. God, thank you for the people that you have given knowledge to do this, and they are working on the other side. As I'm taking this, I'm trusting you. So that at the end of the time, the glory does not go to human being. Yeah. The glory goes to God because of the creation of God. Yeah, the glory goes to God. Yeah.
There's also this biblical teaching, Pastor Maxwanu, that God, I only know in Ashwamu it says, it means God
there's no veils, that's why you can't remember it in English. Okay. It's a verbal statement.
It's a verbal statement.
Yeah, okay. But
it what says we are saying, God helps those that are trying to help themselves. He assists those that are.
It's a false statement. It's a false statement that he has no validation. Okay. Yeah, God says, trust me, but let's put that one on the side. We are going to deal with it. Yeah. We are not saying we are against this government effort and government, because we trust the medicine, we trust the hospital, we go. We don't deliver our baby, or our women, our wives does not deliver baby in the house any longer. They go to the hospital. Yes. When people are sick, we are dealing with them, we send them to the hospital, but we continue to do what we can address in the spirit. So yes, of course, we are together. Immunization is a physical instrument that we are dealing, but a human being, remember, it's a 3-in-1. Yeah. Your body, soul, and spirit. And you can't, the medication treat only the body. There are still 2 parts that are addressed by God through the prayer. So that's why we encourage the people, even as we are going through all these things, prayer must be accompanying everything that we are doing. But we encourage, even in our church, we encourage the people, you know, if you have the information, if you get the right information and you qualify, you are ready for the vaccine, go for the vaccination. But we are not making it mandatory. I think it's where we need to use. We speak, we give information. We, just like we are preaching salvation for them, it's not by force. I stand in the pulpit and I preach to the people, then I appeal to the people, anyone who have received the word and you understand, you want to give your life to Jesus, and they stand up willingly. They come willingly. I think that point of willing is where, Mr. Toivo, the vaccination we are receiving here, or we are having, is not from us. We did not produce this. It is a thing that have come from there. And the people that have brought the same thing to us, they are the ones that are divided already. If you look at the doctor who was, you know, a higher ranking in the whole committee of this, they are the ones who have come out and they are speaking, they are in fight. When the elder, they say the elder, when they are fighting, what suffers is the grass. So I think we are the grass here. And what we are saying, yes, we want to fight the pandemic. We want to see the end to the pandemic. But let's go, all of us together. No one must remain. No one must be separated. No one must be rebelled this and that. All of us, we need to go together, and we come out of this together as Namibian or as the world. I think it's where we need to emphasize.
Before the break, Reverend Nengushe, you spoke about how we are all divided now over this issue, politically, economically, and all that. And obviously, historically, anything that is new has always brought this kind of divisions. Jesus Christ, our Savior, who died on the cross for our sins, himself did not enjoy the support of everybody. There are those who were for him and those that were against him. But eventually we are here at this stage, alive and safe. What must we do to, because it doesn't look possible at all to me that we will ever reach a single position as a nation to say we are now all for that. What is it what we must do under such circumstances?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. I think what is very important here, and I think I've also alluded to earlier, is that when we are divided, we will fall. When we are united, we will stand. the collective efforts and the holistic approach is very much needed, especially approaching this whole issue of the vaccine. Because there are surrounding, factors around this vaccine that is not just the vaccine that will go into mitigate the impact of the virus, but all the other factors are potentially also can also work contrary towards the efforts and the initiatives that we want to win with the vaccination. For example, when we as a nation doesn't confront this thing as a unit, we are stigmatizing people, we are stereotyping them, we are discriminating them, we are segregating them. The very thing that we have put as mitigation can actually work against us in the long term, and that actually threatens the strengthening of the social cohesion in the country. And my concern is also that after the pandemic, God's will, I know that the Lord will take us through this. He has promised He was going to take us through this pandemic. We will be more devastated and more destructive as to where we were, because the aftermath of this segregation, and we know what it has done to us. Some of us are victim of the past,
Exactly.
and we're still psychologically suffering. And that is why we cannot even progress, as a nation, as Africans, because we are still lingering onto the past and still blaming, the regime of apartheid, that, they did that way. So this thing is not just something, stigmatization, it's not something that just go, it continues overnight. It continues, and it can be very detrimental. So this is why we're saying that we need to really, engage a different level, and really try to see how do we address this issue of vaccine, especially this forced mandatory vaccination in the country, because that in itself is a threat to all our initiatives that we want to, to put in place. And one thing I think I would like to say is the initiatives, even with this whole issue of vaccines that we are promoting, and it's a good thing, it's safe, and all these things and so on. The incentives that the people are getting before the vaccination, yes, is good, but then after the vaccination, and which of whereby we also know that this vaccination has not yet been proven, the efficacy has not yet been proven 100% according to the health sector. It cannot stop the virus, it cannot stop the infection, it is not even stopping to contract the virus itself.
But it mitigates death.
It is what they are saying is that it eliminate the level of infection, the level of hospitalization, and even possibly death and so on. But nobody, as we are talking now, immune to COVID-19, as we are talking, according to these vaccines, because they are still, it is a scientific process. They are still, in a trial. They have not yet come to a conclusive that yet it offers immunity to the human body. And then what is actually happening is, after the people have been vaccinated, of which there are good side of the vaccine and there are bad side of the vaccine. What do we do with the bad side? The side effects of this vaccine, and that is not properly addressed. Why, if I have to be vaccinated, I have to get the incentives, and after I have been, vaccinated, there is no compensation to the adverse effect. And these things is actually what is really, contributing to the loss of trust and confidence. I think that is actually what is happening. And all these good initiatives and efforts can actually be, compromised by that. So we need to really really bring this and marry these things, together, that yes, it's good to be vaccinated, and after that, yes, there might be, to some people who have got comorbidities, underlying sicknesses, it might trigger, side effects. What do we do?
I think
Thank you.
No, you've made that point.
I just wanted
Pastor,
also just to add them, especially the other mitigation. Some efforts you see, but they are questionable. For example, Nande is encouraging as maybe a way of encouraging the employee to go for vaccination. So you prove that you are vaccinated and you will get a $2,000. So other company in Walvis Bay, as a result, they are saying when you are vaccinated, then you will get a 4 kg of fish. That 4 kg of fish. Others are saying you vaccinated, you get. These are the things that are also bring the people to question. Why is there a string unto my own earth? You want this concerning me, but you are putting in as a string. What are you trying to achieve? Is this really a way and this how we have learned from the colonial master, the background where we're coming from. When they want information from you, when they want a benefit that concerns them, they are coming with this kind of things here, hiding here as a method of it. But in a reality, that's why what we are saying is information. Don't go with all these things of strings that are attached. You will get this, MTC come up, you will get a double away or whatsoever. Then all these people are questioning. Now you raise questions.
But
why?
But context is very important, Reverend Pastor Maxwanu. I think context is very, very important. If I want to encourage people to vaccinate, and I put an incentive so that life can go back to normal.
Before you put the incentive, go and speak to the people. Try first to talk to the people before you put the incentive. Because everyone is on higher alert. Remember, people are on higher alert. When we are coming with a package, already I will sit down and a bit, I will be hesitant.
But is it not, Pastor, is it not because, isn't the incentives some sort of last resort? You encourage your employees, you send emails, colleagues, it's important that you get vaccinated. These are the benefits of vaccinations. The company is not performing well because of all these restrictions and lockdowns. But once the country is free of COVID-19, we can then go back to normal. Our salary, full salaries can be restored, and. Because businesses also have an interest in why COVID-19 must go away. Now, if I'm a businessman and I know that, and I'm convinced that a vaccine is good for society, why can I not incentivize that process for my employees to say, go and get vaccinated, so that
we never stop buying airtime. Whether it's lockdown or whatever, we never stopped. We never stopped buying food, whatever, all these shops and all the, mostly what we are saying here, what are we really fighting for? Because we are saying, we are seeing that if you look at all these things very nice, it is no more fighting for health, I think. It's no more fighting for pandemic. This is something else. That is what we are saying. Let it come out now. Let us talk. Let us talk and discuss and have the same mind like our former president, founding father, always used to say, people united for the cause of one purpose, they always emerge victorious. I think we need to go back, fight for the unity first of our own nation, bring one another, let us not divide each other. Let COVID not come to divide us. gone through already a lot, and we have come out victorious because of unity.
Yes.
And that is what we want to see again. We want to see us united. Let us come together.
Yeah.
Let us reach unto our people, reach to all the input, the parties that are involved, or everyone. Let us go around the table, just like we have come here.
Yeah.
We appreciate this kind of opportunity. Can this opportunity go around?
Yeah.
You know,
Further.
that it reach further and it reach everyone, so that we have one information. People that are hesitant and people that are this, it's just lack of information.
Yeah.
It is a lack of information, and we just want our people, they must give it that opportunity to get that information, so that they will make their decision on the on informed platform.
Indeed. That is loud and clear. Reverend Nengushe, we have 30 seconds. Please do us the honor and sum up your views in 30 seconds. Any last words as far as this matter is concerned?
I just have to my last, comment on this is that I think that my brother has also just echoed very, very firmly that truly in this instance of the vaccine, we really need the nation to come together and to unite in order to fight as a unit to confront this white elephant that we are faced with. Because without that unity, we cannot. And I just want to also just, conclude with a scripture that says that if in the counsel of many there is wisdom, and where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitudes of counselors there is safety.
Yes.
And I think that what will take us to the next level as a nation is when we hit to counsel and also godly counsel. We would like to see this engagement. We want to see this dialogue continuing at different levels, so that we collectively as a nation, the different role players, the stakeholders involved, come together and really look at this thing at a different, from a different side of way of looking at things, because there are a lot of other things that we can do to mitigate the impact, the adverse impact of COVID-19 on the nation of Namibia, and most importantly, also to continue to pray. As a spiritual entity, this is what we are really leaning on, and it is our breath. And as we're talking, the church is really praying. And we really want to thank our Heavenly Father for preserving our nation, Namibia. And I know that the journey ahead might be difficult, but the hand of God is upon this nation. May the Lord bless Namibia.
Wonderful. In the counsel of many, there is wisdom. Those were the words that, the very wise words of Reverend Dolly Nengushe, and of course in the company tonight of Pastor Maxwanu, weighing in on the subject of vaccinations and mandatory vaccinations in particular. Thank you for watching and have a blessed evening.
The My In a Property show provides viewers with the best-in-class property content, from looking for the perfect house to transforming it to the perfect home, with focus on interior designing, transforming your garden into a tranquil haven, to going green and having the funds and security of financing and insurance. The My In a Property show has it all. Tune in and make your house a home with our monthly My In a Property show on Wednesday evenings at 6:30 on all the NMH Facebook platforms and our website TV channel 1up2.com.